Hello and welcome to Hen Live. Hen, her entrepreneurial network, is a community to inspire, inform, and support women entrepreneurs to build impactful businesses. Hello, I'm Tanushri Nair, your host for today, and I'm an energy mindset coach and author, and I guide high performing leaders to overcome burnout using energy optimization. So let's talk about the elephant in the room that every founder deals with but rarely admits out of loud inconsistency. You know the feeling? You start the week fired up with content plans, client outreach, and clear goals. By Wednesday, you are ghosted your own business. By Friday, the guilt kicks in. And by Monday, you are promising yourself again, this week will be different. Does this sound familiar? Today, we are getting real about why this happens and most importantly, how to break the cycle. And we are doing it with someone who understands that inconsistency isn't a productivity problem. It's often a deeper wound trying to get your attention. Joining us live here is Deepali Nayak, a grief coach, trauma healer, and founder of Miracle Stories. Deepali believes that every person has the potential to create their own miracle stories with love, support, and with the right tools. And she works with people navigating loss, transition, and invisible emotional barriers that keep us stuck, including the inconsistency that sabotages our success. So, welcome, Dipali. Let's dive into what's really happening and when we can't show up for our own dreams.
Thank you so much, Tanushri, for the introduction. Yes, I'm all set.
Wonderful. So, Dipali, let's start here now. As business owners, we beat ourselves up for being inconsistent with posting, with follow ups, with routines, and especially if you are a solo founder. But you work with grief and trauma. What do you see when someone says, I just can't stay consistent?
It's not a laziness problem or it is not a discipline problem. For me, it feels like a nervous system that just feels uncomfortable with that situation. Let's break it down in terms of examples. If someone has, like a business owner like me, has a problem posting on social media, it is most likely a visibility issue or something where I fear to be seen where I'm posting regularly. Okay, let's say I'm doing certain routine every day, okay, and I really want to make that part of my process. Like as business owners, we want holistic lifestyles, right? Or we all have must have made some new year resolutions which we've not been able to keep up until now. Most of the times we leave those things halfway, and it is because somewhere we are scared of growth, success, and that's what I see. Okay. Another thing could be, let's say, as women entrepreneurs, it's very easy for us to undercharge or not ask for money very easily,
Yeah.
right? Big problem
Yes.
that we are facing nowadays. And it could be because of certain kind of trauma that we've had in the past, which is still stopping us. Okay, so that's what I see. Another thing could be, let's say, a drain of energy, and there's a lot of draining that is happening, but it could be because of unresolved trauma or grief specifically, and a lot of pain
Yes.
that was there. So the reasons could be a lot of these different things. It's important to explore.
Wonderful. So you're saying that it's not a laziness issue, it is not a lack of
Correct.
discipline, or is it is not even a time management issue. So there is something deeper going on when this is happening. So inconsistency is often a symptom, it's not the actual root cause. So what do you
Correct.
think? Like you mentioned a nervous system issue. So you have been working in grief, and how does grief specifically show up as inconsistency? Because I think many of us don't realize we are grieving, and that grieving doesn't need for loss of someone close to you, but it can also mean that it's a failed business pivot, a lost opportunity, or even the life we thought we would have had by now. So, what do you
Correct.
think could be the root causes? So, in one way, yes, grief showing up as inconsistency, but how does that work? Can you just
Correct.
explain a little?
So yes. So when we talk about grief, we have to understand that we are lingering in the past. Okay. And whenever we want consistency, it is generally future oriented. What that means is that because we are still so stuck with the past and not being able to move forward from it, by grieving that loss, whatever that loss is, we are not able to be consistent in the future actions that we are taking. Okay, so that is the first way in which grief and inconsistency are related. The second way in which both of them are related is there can be a lot of triggers related to grief. For example, let's say someone is grieving and uh, there is a happy moment in terms of consistency saying, hey, wow, yes, amazing, I achieved this milestone. And suddenly there is a wave of grief that hits which says, oh, but I don't have this person to enjoy that with. I don't have that job which I can actually go through, and enjoy it.
Mm,
So what happens
mm,
is there is a break in the way that we think and feel. Because now we are looking at grief not as a standalone aspect, but something that is impacting our daily life. And more specifically, we are not able to uh, kind of move past it because we feel, oh, then we are leaving people behind. We are leaving those kind of situations behind. And it becomes heavy for us sometimes. See, grief is a very complex and emotionally triggering aspect sometimes for many people, but it need not be that because many times society telling us just a lot of complex emotions like anger, frustration, irritation. Where do I take all of that? Right? There has to be a way where I am actually expressing those emotions out, and if not, then it shows up as inconsistency. That's why I said it is a symptom rather than anything else. So grief can
wonderful.
act in those ways. Also, another very important thing, grief takes up a lot of bandwidth. So in my body, if I have stored grief, right, there is no other way. I'm not giving it an outlet. I'm not expressing it, right? I'm not processing it in a healthy way. Then, of course, where is it
Yes.
going to be stored? It is going to be stored in my body. Now, because it is stored in my body, is there space for more success, more joy, more happiness? Answer is no, right? And because of which,
Brilliant.
what we do is because we are suppressing these emotions, what is happening is grief is taking up space within our body, not allowing us to completely enjoy things that we want to do. So let's say if we are wanting to have 10x success, okay, but internally, if this grief is stopping me, then in that case, I would never be able to get that 10x as a result, and then we say manifestation phase. But that's not how it is. It is that underlying subconscious energetics that is keeping us trapped in inconsistency. So moving past that is very important rather than just saying that, oh, I'm so inconsistent or I'm so lazy. No, that's not the case. We have to really look deep into the different aspects.
I think what you're saying is so powerful, Dipali, and I think we think inconsistency is about not being good enough at business or at in personal relationships, when actually it might be our nervous system saying, "Hey, something needs attention here." And I love what you brought up because as an energy mindset coach, I observe this in my work too. You mentioned about underlying energetics. Emotions, when you break the word emotion, it becomes emotion. It's energy in motion. And these unprocessed emotions dysregulates our nervous system. Like you rightly mentioned, it is held in our body. Where else it will go? There is, when you have not released it, it has to stay somewhere. And like we say, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can be transformed. And I think that is the way grief, energy of grief stays in the body and transforms itself. Wonderful.
True.
And you also mentioned about conditioning. You also mentioned about, identity shifts, like who am I beyond this role of mine? And this is very interesting to hear and to assimilate this because we think about business in very logical and analytical terms, whereas everything that we do comes from our personal space into our work, and people try to balance work and life, and that is where I think you mentioned a very beautiful thing about grief is a past energy, and we wanting to achieve something with a future energy, and that's a huge jump and a leap to take for our body and mind to get aligned to that future energy that we are looking at.
Correct.
Wonderful. So
Just to
you
add in
mentioned,
terms of the conditioning, yeah, I think you were asking about the conditioning.
Yes, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Please
So,
proceed.
no, when you were talking about the conditioning, there were a couple of stories that just came through. So, I just wanted to share that with everyone as well.
Please do.
We are business owners now, right? Or we are entrepreneurs right now. But we've always been that 5-year-old girl who had her own crazy, environment that she was brought up in. Correct? Yes or no? Agree? Now,
Yes,
let's tap into that and see what was the kind of energy or environment that she was in, right? So, if we have to look at it, maybe there was this 5-year-old girl who is now a business owner, amazing, right? But that time she was a 5-year-old girl, and maybe in the classroom, she was made to stand up and answer a question, and all the girls around her just laughed at her, and she felt, oh my God, now standing up, I cannot speak up. I cannot speak up. I cannot be comfortable. People are judging me. People are criticizing me. And the teacher says, you don't know the answer? Sit down, sit down. So she feels humiliated. She feels shame. Now, this is the exact tonality that she's carrying into the business as well, right? So next time there is a client who is in front of her and he is rejecting her, and she takes it up as, oh my God, it was something very humiliating or very shameful for me because something is wrong with me and this person came and rejected me. Yeah. So this could be one story of undercharging, therefore wanting to please that particular client in ways of discounts. And this is something that we do as well. Another aspect could be, let's say, there's this 13-year-old girl, yeah, who's just getting into puberty and all of those things. And that time someone in the family comments, oh, but you have so many pimples. Oh, but you have, you have these issues in your body that you need to take care of, right? Now this person is a business owner and is wanting to scale up on social media, right? Within a Zoom room, they are very comfortable. On a day-to-day basis, they're very comfortable. But on a social media basis, they are not. They are not comfortable. Now, this person is wanting to scale up on social media, right?
is Dipali's screen frozen? I think there is an issue with her internet connection.
That information starts to come up for us. Yeah. And because
Got
of which, what is happening? Because of that, what is happening? That um, now when I'm going on social media, that 13-year-old is getting triggered, right? And she's feeling, oh my God, all of these people are going to be judging me. All of these people are going to be seeing me, and I don't feel comfortable because I was never comfortable, made comfortable as a 13-year-old, right? So these are the stories that we are carrying with us, and that's the reason we are putting things off. It's not that we don't want to take the effort or we don't have the capacity to take the effort, but it is these stories that keep us stuck. And that's where we need to break the ice with inconsistency, because inconsistency is very superficial. There are so
Yes,
many underlying layers to it, right? It is also a story about a girl who was maybe compared with a lot of different peers. And to get her father's approval, maybe she wanted to uh, get more marks. And she put a lot of effort. She put a lot of effort, right? And still there was no appreciation. Every time the expectation kept increasing. Now, as business owners, how this pops up for us is that there is a perfectionism level that we go. And then, we don't want to let go of that perfectionism because we feel कुछ तो गलत होने वाला है मेरी नाक कहीं पे तो कटने वाली है my performance has to be high. So somewhere we get into that energy of comparison with other people, comparison with whether we are doing right or wrong, correct? So we get a lot of imposter syndrome as well. So all of these kind of become a loop, and we keep trying to achieve one milestone after the other without resting, without, and in fact feeling guilty. If you're not hustling, we feel guilty, right?
true.
So all of these things leads to inconsistency, because if we are burning out, if we are draining, and we are constantly triggered by that overachiever mentality of ours, then in that case, there is only as much energy that we can have. There's only
True.
as much time that we can have, right? After a point in time, it is bound to then slow down for us. and that
Yes.
feels like inconsistency. So these are different aspects. It always depends on what is the kind of story that person is going through, and especially how it is showing up in the business as well. All of this conditioning, how it is showing up in the business.
I resonate so strongly with everything that you said, and the examples that you've given are also some of the kind of examples I've seen through my coaching journey, also with my coaches. And these are so subtle. We think that we have moved on from this, but it creates patterns of starting and stopping, not just in our businesses, but also in our personal life, in building relationships with others, in communication. I think in the way we present ourselves and we come out in parts. We don't come out as a whole person when we are carrying these many conditioning within us.
Correct.
You mentioned about how this grief stays in our body. Can you shed a little light on the role that our nervous system plays in consistency?
So, when it comes to nervous system, we have to understand that we are, either with grief or with otherwise any kind of trauma. We can address any kind of trauma. Irrespective of that, all the trauma is stored in our body. Okay, and when I say body, it can show up in inconsistency in four different ways. We can either fight. Okay, so we are either fighting with ourselves in our mind, saying that, oh, let's let I'll postpone it, I'll do it later, or I don't want to do it, I'm very angry with this situation, I don't want to process it at all. Okay, this could be like a fight thing. Another could be like a flight. So let's say, for example, I feel like running away when it comes to doing something that I'm supposed to be doing consistently as a business owner, and I'm flying, kind of fleeing away from it. Let's say following up with a client and asking for money again. एक बार तो मुश्किल से किया. So next time if I have to go, I'm like running away. I'm like, no, 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 it's okay. I don't want to do it, right? Another thing could be, let's say, a freeze trauma. So maybe a new launch, and you know for sure that this is going to expand your business like crazy. Okay, but you, because of that perfectionism and everything that is coming up, you're feeling, oh, this is not good enough. Maybe let me just keep trying more and more and more, and somewhere you keep pushing it and postponing it, and your body can feel frozen or feel lost, feel confused in that particular situation. Okay. And another thing could be like heavy discounts that we give to people, maybe thinking that, oh, they will be onboarded, it's okay. Then for the next client, we will increase our price, no problem, right? But what happens is our money energetics gets impacted because of all of these things. So it's a vicious circle that we get into. And the nervous system, once it is stuck in either of these, either the flight, freeze, or fawn trauma, or the people pleasing trauma. So when we're stuck in all of these, it is bound to happen that we're becoming inconsistent, right?
Yes.
So we need to move our body. Movement, one of the examples is actually moving your body. Okay, very simple exercises that I do is I actually don't keep a bottle of water or very close by now because there's a workshop. Yes, but most of the times you get up and take the water from a different space. What you're doing, you're just moving, you're shifting the energy there, right? Even after every session that I conduct with my clients, I get up and I stretch, right? Or I just shake my aura. Now, what is happening is I'm not staying with that stagnant energy, I'm constantly moving. So, this really helps with the nervous system work, right? So, yeah, I think that's how it gets stored in the nervous system specifically.
Brilliantly explained, Deepali, and I can draw parallels in the work that you're doing, and it definitely. I also have this habit of keeping just a cup of uh, water rather than the whole bottle of water sometimes because when we are doing intense work with coaches, it also comes to a point where I am also absorbing a lot of their energy, whether I want it or not, and that is when it makes sense to step out, move out from the space where you're working, or do some small movement or activity which shakes off that energy. Wonderful.
Yes.
So, hen community, we are going to do something different today. And I would like to request Dipali, because you mentioned that this stays in our body. I think the easiest way is to become aware about our body. And uh, because when we talk about energy, we don't know where this energy is, how to access this energy. But I think body is the very easiest part where you can feel, you can sense, and you can understand some tangibility is there around the way we do things. So I would request you if you can share one or two tools or methods in which we can shake off this energy. One you mentioned was like, keep a bottle of water, not to keep a bottle of water, but rather than, just get up and get water for yourself in between. What are some
Yeah,
other effective ways where, our listeners can use this on daily basis?
yeah, perfect. Before I answer this question, I just want to give a very important understanding of the the fact that when we are thinking, we are not breathing, and when we are breathing, we are not able to think. Okay, so in this context, what it basically means is the breath is a very beautiful way of regulating our nervous system. Okay, so why? And if you have observed, maybe in the past also, if someone has had any anxiety attacks in your coaches, that is what happens. We go into a spiral, a negative thinking spiral, constantly overthinking, blah blah blah, and then we start to. Have you noticed that? That we suddenly become breathless. That's because our mind is in overdrive. So whenever our mind is in overdrive, it is a physiological change that is happening because of which we are not able to breathe. Okay. So anytime there is a difficult emotion, our body gets impacted. This is the proof of this. Okay. Now, how do we want to immediately address this difficult situation? Because if you are in this difficult emotion, like maybe guilt, maybe overthinking, maybe in anger, maybe you are in fear or panic or in deep level of anxiety, any decisions that you're going to make are going to be reactive and not helpful, right? So the first thing we want to do is to regulate our nervous system or regulate that emotion. Okay, so what do we do? If you see here, there is this part here. Can you just hold here, just between your neck, between your throat and your heart. So this is where your thymus is basically. It's there's that hole in between, right? Yeah. What you want to do is kind of tap this very gently. You want to tap it. Okay. So now at this moment, you have to imagine that there is anger or frustration or any difficult emotion. And during that time, you just start to close your eyes, right? And I want you to keep tapping this. As you're tapping, you can also say, I release dash. Now that dash, you fill in the blanks. You can put it as overthinking, overwhelmed, guilt, grief, anything. Fear, anxiety, it could be anything. Okay? So you need to just keep saying, I release anxiety. I release anxiety. Keep your eyes closed, keep tapping, and after you said this three times, just take a breath in and breathe out. Keep your mouth open as you breathe out, and therefore your exhale would be longer. Exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And just stop and recheck with your body about that difficult emotion. This is a very simple tip for you to manage yourself in that moment.
Thank you so much, Dipali. This is a very doable thing, a very easy thing. I think once you get into the practice of doing this for yourself, it comes very automatically to, tap out that feeling from the emotion from your body. This is, I mean, you have given a very helpful guide and a tool to work with. And I'm sure that, someone who wants to build consistency from a place of wholeness rather than hustle, this is this one practice, if you can start doing it daily or as a weekly practice. You can see yourself shifting from inconsistency to sustainably showing up wherever you are required. Deepali, thank you so much for this tool, this tip. Tell us a little bit about Miracle Stories. What is the vision you have built Miracle Stories with, and whom are you here to serve? And how can the hen community connect with you if they're ready to do this deeper work? She frozen again.
With miracle stories, it is yeah. With miracle
Mhm.
stories, the main thing is I believe everyone can create their own miracle stories. Okay, we all have the right tools, the techniques, and irrespective of what has happened in the past, it is possible to create the life of our dreams. And that is the belief that I would like to install with every single person, every individual, every group that I work with. Yeah, I've served more than 1,000 people in the community on one-on-ones or group workshops, etc., even corporate trainings and workshops, specifically to address this uh, underlying aspect of how the subconscious is dealing with this. So I am basically a trauma informed life coach specializing with grief, PTSD, all those, plus intergenerational trauma therapy. So family constellations is also something that I do. Also inner child healing therapy, Reiki Grandmaster, Akashic Records, Tarot Coach. So all of these services are available individually, or we can also do it as a group. So from time to time I have my workshops also that I conduct. I have one which is on 9th of March, starting, which is called as Money DNA Reset Program. And if any of the business owners here are inconsistent with money, that is the space that you would want to be. Yeah. So the best way to connect with me is, of course, LinkedIn is there, but there's also Instagram, which is Miracle, MIRACLEE _stories, STORRRIES. So that's a double E and a double R. Okay. And my number is also there. I mean, you can just DM me on Instagram. I think that would be better. Yeah. So that's the best way to connect.
Wonderful. And um, everyone wants to make money, definitely. I think this is a wonderful place to connect with Deepali. Reset your DNA to align it with the money energy, and find out what's there for you and what is there that is going to be resourceful for you in your life and in your business. Do we have any questions from the listeners about whatever we spoke today? I'll just take a moment to just check whether we have any. Ruchi says, all the best, Deepali.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions? Hmm. Doesn't look like it. I think your topic was very uh, intensely, and we have described it so well. And thank you so much, Deepali, for bringing such depth, compassion, and truth to this conversation. You are very candid. You shared it with all your heart, and I could feel that energy for myself while I was listening to you. You have given us permission to stop beating ourselves up for inconsistency and start asking,
Yes.
what is this trying to tell me? To everyone watching, if you recognize yourself in any part of this conversation, you are not alone. Inconsistency isn't your enemy, it's often your inner wisdom saying, slow down, heal, and then build. And remember, Hem is there to hold space for your journey, the messy middle, the breakthroughs, and the miracle stories that you are creating every single day. So if today resonated, reach out to Dipali, do the work, and then watch what becomes possible when you show up from the place of healing instead of hustling. Thank you so much, Dipali. And everyone, see you at the next Hen Live. Until then, be gentle with yourself. You are doing better than you think. This is Tanushri signing off.